Welcome to the Westborough Affordable Housing Trust and the Housing Partnership Committee meeting of Friday, July 11th, 2025. It is 9 a.m. and we're in Memorial Hall and Town Hall. Please note that the Westborough TV is recording this and streaming it live, and it will also be available it will be recorded and available on Westborough TV's website. So 9 a.m. call to order. The first item is approve the minutes from June 13th, 2025. I read over them and I saw nothing that merited any corrections, at least on my part. Look good. Anybody else? Any comments? Anything like that? I'll entertain a motion for acceptance.
I move we accept the minutes from the Trust's meeting of June 13th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
We have to do roll call.
And, we got to do a roll call because Hank. Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
And Hank?
Roush, yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, the HB Cottages and High Street Extension concepts. I don't know if it would be helpful to sort of break this up because we do have, we're going to be going to the one stop for High Street next, I forget, the 16th, when that's Tuesday, Wednesday. And whether it would be better to review the presentation that we're going to do then, showing the concepts, etc. Now, I don't know if we can broadcast the display, or should we just talk about this, what we're planning to do. I think, given that we don't have the display available, I think, Hank, why don't you take it, where we stand?
Yeah, we're going to the so-called one-stop meeting. The one-stop meeting is a gathering of town employees who are all part of the various permitting activities. And the intention of the meeting is to allow them to give us feedback on things on what needs to be done with our proposal in order to get a building permit. Basically, they're going to identify, they're going to give us feedback and identify all the areas where there may be issues or concerns from public safety, building inspector, DPW, conservation, etc. So the whole idea is to give them something that exposes the range of options that we're considering and get them to give us feedback. That's really all we're there for. They're not an approval body.
Not working.
The more feedback we get, the better. So, and just to keep it simple, we've picked two concepts, one of which is the most dense 7-unit concept, the other of which is the least dense, the 5-unit concept, and to see where their concerns would be with each of those two. We should get a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I was, but Aiden. Yeah, the two, we do have a slide deck. I don't know, did that go out to everyone or? Yeah, okay, so you can see the slide deck and then you can see the two concepts that we'll be presenting there. And it's basically in a PowerPoint, so hopefully we're going to get some feedback just on, what's good, what's not good. Oh, we're seeing, Hank has it up. Okay, great. Thank you, Hank. So that, we just get feedback so we get an idea of where we go, and hopefully this will also give us a little bit of insight on any concerns as we move towards the following week, the 23rd, when we present the Beach Street, one stop on that. Okay, thanks, Hank. Moving on.
A question.
Yeah.
So we're going to the one stop with concepts C and D?
Correct.
Okay, I guess my question is, why not concept B, we're looking back on our discussion, concept B had more contiguous green space and recreation potential in the, in the upper left portion of the property. Was there a motivation behind picking those two concepts?
Just to get the maximum amount of feedback, the highest density, the largest concentration of density is going to get you the most feedback. I would not expect to take either one of those concepts to the planning board or anybody else. I think between now and the planning board, we'll have a lot more input, and we'll figure out something that is some mix with whatever feedback we get.
Okay.
We can have pictures of that, maybe not in the display so much, but if somebody's interested, asking about, do you have other concepts? We can have them with us and share if they request. We can say we've done 4 concepts. These are high density, low density.
The meeting's at 2 p.m. in the Great Hall on Wednesday. Not in in Forbes Municipal Building at 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
So it's not a public meeting though, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's not broadcast, but
it's not a public meeting. So I was planning on sitting in, but
Sure.
I'm actually traveling next week on business last minute. So
Okay. Well, I think this is good. I mean, just to at least get a start, we got to keep moving on these concepts. But we'll have the other concepts with us, printed out. So if people start to ask about that, I think
and the following week we'll be taking Beach Street, and we'll do the same thing. We'll a handful of slides and some concepts that kind of are both ends of the spectrum, just to get feedback.
Okay.
So can I request that for Beach Street, one of the concepts be Beach Street Concept A?
Sure.
And that part of the discussion with the one stop would be whether there is a preference for having the circular driveway at the end, or could we create a T?
A hammerhead for the
A hammerhead, because if we did a hammerhead, that would create a large contiguous field for recreation space, which could be really nice. Almost a mini park.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put the snow storage at one end of the T and the dumpsters at the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask a question real quick, just for my own reference? Is there consensus on the board for High Street Extension as far as what concept you're leaning towards, or
Well,
have you?
I can answer. We sent in our individual
Right.
rankings, if you will. Some were, I think the High Street, we had 2 for one and 2
Right.
for the other, things like that. I
So
think
you're
the
kinda-
purpose of this, I'm trying to answer your question, is to at least get some feelings from the one stop of what are their thoughts, what are their feelings. Like, they just, if they throw up their hand and say, oh, that's just too dense or something like that. It guides us, and then we can come in and with the feedback, maybe go again at a run at what is our preferences. Mark?
Yeah, so my understanding of the one stop is that they'll take, their job is to anticipate municipal needs, try and make the next step, which is the planning board in this case, an easier process for whatever applicant, in this case, the AHT, right? So we really need to go to them with I think we should go to them with a concept and have them tell us what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Similar to what, we did with it, right? We preferred this one, we preferred that one, we liked this piece of that concept. Maybe we could put it together with that piece of, the hammerhead instead of the circle or whatever. So I don't mind if we go to them with 2 concepts, but I think it's self-defeating to go to them with 4 concepts and say, which one do you like? I think we need to go to them with kind of a limited idea and say, what obstacles are there to doing this? Is it too dense, and then we can pull it back, or is it, are we forgetting about a municipal need or requirement or
Right.
something on the site that we as citizens haven't really considered?
Okay, yeah, good, thank you. Any other
I
questions?
I don't think there's consensus yet on a particular
Oh, I agree with that.
concept. So I think if we do pick two for each meeting and listen to the feedback, that could help, guide us. Because, as I look at High Street, we had talked a lot about concept B, but there was concern and questions about whether that would be acceptable for emergency vehicle access and egress, because there's not a clear turnaround spot, even though it provides more contiguous open space. C is the highest density. So I understand Hank's point there. D is a good layout. There is recreation open space. There is turnable space, the way the parking's set up. So I think C and D are probably good as Hank's proposed to go and get feedback on both concepts. And part of it is like, do they have a preference?
Yep.
Like,
I'm fine with that, but I don't necessarily.
I'm concerned about the high. I like the idea of going with the highest density because that'll get more feedback. But I'm concerned about us going at that higher density given the neighborhood, et cetera. Now, granted, of course, higher density makes the project more affordable because there's scale. So we'll have to weigh those things based on after we get the feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's a friendly 40B, right? So we
Yeah.
really do have to get neighborhood support with it.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Okay.
All of these concepts will have substantial problems getting permitted. Getting through the planning board, the ZBA on any of these concepts is going to be very difficult.
Okay, let's move on just to stay on time here. We have property management. I threw this in, and I know there's not much backup. I'm very frustrated with, I'm the one that gets all the calls when there's overgrowth and other issues. I've called landscapers to come in to try to clean up, to do mowing. DPW has helped a bit with at least trimming the front hedges to keep the walkway. But I'd really, and there's things like changing the light bulbs when they burn out, or, keep the house lit on a basic level, things like that. I just don't have the time, and I'm looking for help from somebody that can take over that. And I just threw it out as a property management, meaning making sure the property is kept in some state of reasonableness. And also there's a tree at one end that's, I was talking to Sue, who's on the corner there, and she pointed out that there's some dead limbs that are overarching, and we should get a tree service just to trim out those dead ones so before they fall. So it's those kinds of activities, and I've been frustrated. I've called, made arrangements to meet with somebody, then they don't show, or I don't hear back, and it's like chasing my tail. So I'm yep.
I can help you with that.
Ed, can we just contract with the DPW's building management group? We'll pay them to take care of it, and they establish the standards that they're going to sustain on it.
Right.
I don't know that we need to keep the building lit. I don't know that we need to take dead limbs down. But there's some minimum level of maintenance that a municipality which owns property has to do on the property they own. We've got a building and grounds department who's as specialists and experts. If we give them money, they should be willing to do the job.
I can reach out to Chris to do that. I think I'm concerned about liability with those tree limbs. I think
That's a municipal issue, and the building and grounds people should be able to tell us whether it's a legitimate concern.
I know, and since we're the owners of the property, though, in my opinion, it is an issue. So I wouldn't say let's not worry about that. Maybe I misheard you, but I would put that as one of the things that is needed. But I will reach out.
And have you ever driven up Oak Street and seen the old school buildings over there that the state owns? I mean, they're in terrible
Yeah,
condition.
I know, but
But that's the standard to which municipalities maintain.
So
Alan?
well, Oak Street's now privately owned, and I agree that's an issue. I guess my suggestion is that Ed does talk to Chris Payant and say we're looking for,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be weekly, but
No.
maybe every 2-3 weeks, cut the lawn.
as needs.
As needed, front, the back can be done twice a year because it's out of sight, out of mind. And say one of the concerns is the condition of the trees. There might be some dead limbs that need to come down.
Yeah,
We have a
I
tree
got your
division.
message.
We have a tree division that could handle it, or they could tell us to go hire someone.
Right.
Either way,
Okay.
we can get that addressed. Through
All right. I wasn't aware that they'd be willing to, for a certain amount of money, do the maintenance on the property.
Well, we don't know that they are willing, but it
No,
doesn't hurt
but
to ask,
you
right?
gotta
I mean,
ask
unless
first.
Hank has inside info, I'd say.
They,
But it
they,
does,
they maintain all the playing fields for they maintain the playing fields for the recreation department.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they wouldn't maintain a
Well, I
piece of
don't-
property that the housing trust owns.
yeah, they don't maintain the target fields because it's privately owned, and
Right.
they may look at this as a.
Yeah, that's
so-
a question. We're a little
all right, we're-
different.
we're
but let me,
getting outside the scope, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
I've
So,
gotten the
yeah.
feedback I needed. We only wanted to
And if you
spend
need
5
and if
minutes.
they say no, they won't do it. Alan and I'd be happy to help too,
Okay.
to meet some contractors there or whatever.
In
Okay.
parallel, I just texted you a potential landscaper, Ed, who's got time. If you
That's
can
the
do it.
thing.
So
I
that's-
contact them, they don't
okay.
show, or
I'm
they
happy
come
to
in.
follow up with him and meet with him if
Okay.
things don't work out with
Right.
DPW.
We need,
Okay.
I'm wondering if we need to set aside a certain amount of money to, authorize the expenditure of a certain amount initially and then an ongoing amount.
Sure. What do you think is?
I got, one guy came back, he wanted to really clean out a lot of stuff. I don't think we need to get it pristine. We just want to keep it manageable. It was $1,100. And
So I guess I would then propose, since DPW would give us a number for the rest of the season or monthly, whatever.
Right.
I would propose that I would move that we allocate up to $2,500 towards property
that would be more
maintenance
than enough.
on Beach Street. Then we can reassess if that's too much or too little.
I'll
down the
second
road.
that.
Okay. Any discussions? Okay. So we're looking at 2,500. All those in favor of allocating
Silverberg, yes.
2,500?
Silverberg, yes. We have to do a roll call.
Oh, we have to do, I'm sorry. Herrera.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Sorry.
Hank?
Roush, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we've got
Dirty looks.
2,500. Thank you very much. Okay, 134 Fisher Street. I have not had time to get out to Richard to call him up and sit down and say, where are you specifically financially? I talked to Jen a little bit. She doesn't, Jenny Gingras, she didn't hear any, she hasn't had any more interaction, so I'll give him a call just to see where he stands, just to get an update, and then if need be, to try to help with his finances if he needs that. At least get a model out in the feasibility study of what's doable. Okay, next on the agenda is 24 Indian Pond Road, which is being sold. Ms. Kimball is the current tenant and right of first refusal. Have we gotten, I've seen some things, I think that there's information in our packets that have been going back and forth with the old HLC. Kristen, you want to?
Yes, so we got the application form from the owner and the email stating that she wanted to sell her property. We have the deed rider included in the packet. Ryko from EOHLC initially came up with that sale price, but then I think it was 275.
Two.
My glasses on.
200.
But then the owner came back and said she had done some improvements to the heating system and wanted that to be considered, which Ryko agreed that they would do. But she had already written that initial letter. She said she'll revise it. She just needs the paperwork proving that that was done. So then they would adjust the price to $279,600, provided they get that information. So that's where we stand with that. But otherwise, we have everything else.
Okay, so it's moving along. Go ahead.
So I guess I would
Is the
suggest
property listed?
the properties will be marketed once, well, sometimes they start marketing them early. So the property is scheduled, I expect the property will start being marketed imminently. So I guess I would,
NCO's been contacted, so.
yeah. So, and because the clock starts ticking on the 90-day window, so as we've done with other properties, the various options we have, I would go with our typical option C, which would be to recommend the select board that the trust acting as agent for the town exercise the town's purchase option if EOHLC is not able to locate a qualified and eligible household within the 90-day period or any authorized extension period that EOHLC might grant. And that, in parallel, that we would approve an amount not to exceed $279,600 and any related fees and expenses to purchase the property.
Is that a motion?
Should that happen. So if people agree with that, I'll make the formal motion.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I move to recommend to the select board that the Westborough Affordable Housing Trust, acting as an agent for the town, exercise the town's purchase option for the property at 24 Indian Pond Road, described as Assessor ID 27-272-0 per Section 1A of the Local Initiative Program Affordable Housing Deed Rider, dated November 20th, 1998, and recorded on Book 20706 on page 269 by the Worcester Registry of Deeds, provided the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, EOHLC, formerly the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, as monitoring agent, is unable to locate and select an eligible purchaser that enters into a purchase and sale agreement within the 90 days of EOHLC's receipt of the conveyance notice or during any authorized extension period. I further move to appropriate an amount not to exceed $279,600 and the related fees and expenses necessary to purchase the property at 24 Indian Pond Road, described as Assessor ID 27-272-0, pursuant to the Local Initiative Program Affordable Housing Deed Rider, dated November 20th, 1998, and recorded in Book 20706 on page 268 by the Worcester Registry of Deeds.
Seconded.
Okay. All right, any discussion on that? And what was the total number again?
279,600.
600. Any discussion? No? All right, roll call vote. I'll cut it this time. Herrera.
Herrera, yes. Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
Hank?
Roush, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Excuse me, Ed.
Yes.
So, Kristen, if you can let town manager know so it can go on to an agenda item for the select board. And that we'll get that once all the updated paperwork comes from Rieko, and let Rieko know as well
Yep.
that we need that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, DCAM. I reported last month about the parcel on Lyman Street, what they call Zero Lyman, being disposed of by DCAM, or planned to be disposed of by DCAM, and some of the concerns we had regarding their auctioning of the property with the current inclusionary zoning that we have as a town for those kind of properties. And, we were getting the feedback, the feeling that the developer would not have to follow that. Our legislative representatives, a letter from Christie that was created by Christie with a lot of feed in from myself, Alan, and Ian Johnson, responded to their proposal and really stated the case that having affordable housing required that some of these inclusionary zoning conditions be incorporated in any RFP that DCAM may put out. After a little back and forth, we did get positive feedback that they would be honoring the inclusionary zoning, et cetera. You can read the response from the commissioner in there. So, it has been positive. It took a little bit of time and a little bit of angst, but we seem to have gotten to the point where I know we heard from the lieutenant governor that while they want to have housing production, they also realize that that's got to incorporate affordable components as well, not just total units being built. We do have a call with them on Monday at 4 p.m. Alan, I don't know if you you did join us on that very first one.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, that we had a bad connection. But it's at 4 p.m. It's right now, it's Christy, Ian, and myself. But you're welcome to join. We just, as a courtesy, let Christy know.
Yeah,
if you do want.
I'll have to check my conference.
Yeah.
To see if I can get out.
I mean, I don't. There wasn't any specific agenda. I think it's just to review where we stand and concerns we have, or they may be asking, well, what do you suggest? How we move forward with RFPs and things like that. And we do have some of those conditions that we thought were appropriate. Mark.
Yeah, I don't know if I made this point before. I did mention it to Christy that one of the caveats they had was inclusionary zoning needed to be economically feasible, and I just reminded her that when we did the MBTA zoning analysis, we did a feasibility study that demonstrated that our inclusionary zoning was feasible. So we should probably be, and that was one of the things they brought up in that letter. So I think it might be something we want to go back to planning. Maybe Kristen can help us with that.
Kate, I don't know. I think that was a follow-up question after we got the initial, and then they were saying we would work together, and that's what we've done in the past with developers.
So the original letter from DCAM said that they would go out and honor our inclusionary zoning, provided it was economically feasible for that project.
Right.
But they didn't say who and how that would be determined.
Exactly.
And that's the follow-up that's the follow-up discussion that's underway now.
Yes.
So definitely having the affordability study related to MBTA housing is valid for making the case. What we're really looking for is some assurances that DCAM just doesn't unilaterally rule that they've got a good enough proposal. The developer says they can't do the inclusionary and DCAM just agrees.
Yeah, well, they said the initial determination will be made by DCAM with advice from appraisers and/or real estate professionals, as well as a review of housing production plans, which we have, and an MBTA community analysis, which is what I was referring to. So I would say that we need to have those ready, whether or not for Ed's call on next week or not. I don't know that we need it that soon.
I think on Monday's call, it's to discuss that, and
I'm just reminding you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, thank you. So, you're absolutely right. That's the next step, is to make sure that we try to tighten down how the economic feasibility analysis will come down. It can't just be the developer says he can't do it, so we're gonna take what
Yeah,
the developer says.
I thought that economic feasibility analysis presented a very, reasonable approach to why it is, it is economically feasible to include,
When you did the MBTA.
affordable homes. Yes.
Yeah. And we're doing the same exact thing with the Post Road residential.
Sure.
We're doing economic feasibility analysis, using, rent income and, building costs and things like that. So we'll also try to get an idea of what is their, if you will, vision, or what would they, if they do an RFP, which it seems like that's how they would approach it, what are they looking for? Are they looking for a high density, i.e. 30, 40 unit type of high density, apartment complex? I mean, the only thing they have to do is do 4 units per acre, and, with the acreage there, that might just get you a couple of dozen single family homes, which, we just need to get it would be good to get a little feel of what they're looking at as far as if they do an RFP, how they're going to weight some different things. Okay. So any other questions on DCAM? I mean, you sort of know where it is. It's still a little fluid, but I think we've mustered the right support system with our, and this isn't just Westborough, it's a lot of towns that have this concern. Okay, we're going to need to move into the Housing Partnership Committee meeting, so we will go into recess at this time from the affordable housing.
I move we suspend the meeting of the Westborough Affordable Housing Trust and enter into a meeting of the Housing Partnership Committee, where the Housing Trust will reconvene upon conclusion of the Housing Partnership Committee meeting.
Okay, second?
Herrera, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm doing we need a second.
Oh, I said second.
Oh, you did, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, all right, roll call, Herrera?
Herrera, yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes?
Silverberg, yes.
Hank?
Roush, yes.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, this is primarily the Post Road development. We had a meeting yesterday with the two principals of the Post Road development. What we did is I'd been doing analysis given the rates, the rental rates that they have been charging at their Marlborough facility, or called the Lodge. And I got those because I felt that was more representative of what were real rents they could charge, since that's what they were renting at. It was advertised at, and I got 90 units. So I scraped all that down, put it in the model. They wanted a 20% IRR. I used their numbers for their construction cost, et cetera, et cetera. I built the model to include buy downs at the rates per the inclusionary zoning. It would come out to be $199,500, let's say $200,000 per unit, based upon the HUD eligibility numbers, income numbers that we use. And the model allows you to say five buy downs, 10 buy downs, et cetera, and you can see what happens. Basically, it didn't seem to be getting anywhere. And I basically then went to the point where I said, let's assume they did just a pure market rate housing development. In other words, no affordable things like that. What would their IRR be? And it came out to be 17.92, if memory serves. So I brought that up with them after, we had gone through the whole model, and they agreed, yeah, this is a really good, it's very clear, very flexible model. And I said, I was scratching my head. It's like you can't even make it at market rate rents, the number you're hitting. And they go, Ed, you've seen what the problem is in construction these days. That even at market rates, it's hard to make the numbers because of the cost of construction and everything, and et cetera. What and Jenny was in that meeting, Jenny Gingras. So what I told them I'd do is I'd say, okay, and they've sent us a proposal. What I'd said we'd do is, at this point, is come up with a working group that can then look at the numbers, look at what their proposal is for some buy downs, et cetera, possibly work with the town. I threw Jenny to see if there's other things that could be done to help them out, sewer hookups, things like that. So at this point, I would, obviously, I think it makes sense for me to stay on the project since I was there from day one, but I'm looking for at least one other person that would be willing to join me on that. And
I'm willing to participate on this. I have a more overriding concern,
yep,
which is this is the first scale development that's come before the town since the adoption of our inclusionary zoning. And the discussion is immediately to how can we work around that for the benefit of the developer. And we put in, we vote in the town. Well, no, it's really not for yes, the project will bring in tax revenue and bring in, housing, it's luxury housing. In theory, right? The belief is that even if you build luxury housing, it helps affordability. The longitudinal study of Boston shows that's actually not the case, right? And that oftentimes luxury housing people don't move up into it, that opens up moderate and more affordable housing for other people, right? Oftentimes it becomes investment or, other things that don't alleviate the housing market. And so, while this has some potential benefits, it also will have some potential drain on resources of the town. But I think we need to be very cautious about how, in our advocacy as the Affordable Housing Trust and in our role as the partnership committee, there's a little difference, right? The partnership committee is to help the developer get to a point where a project with affordable housing is viable, right? And the trust's role is to advocate for housing affordability in general. And I guess my question is why we're already so deep into the weeds and ideas about how to lower the cost of the project for the developer, which would mean giving up the strength of our inclusionary zoning and our expectations of any developer. Now, they say they've been looking at this property for over a decade, okay? If they fine, they can say that they've been eyeing these properties or working. They actually said they've been working on this for over a decade, and yet they had more than enough warning. They could have submitted the permit request before the inclusionary zoning was coming. They knew it was coming if they were following the property because it's all public, and there was a lot of discussion about what was happening and what was going to come up before it was actually even posted. So they could have put the permit in before. They did not. I think the town has to think really long and hard. And the reality is, if a project's not viable, it's not viable. And Ed's shown that it's not viable at market rate. Then if it's not viable at market rate, why would we work to make it viable?
Yeah, they came back once I did that, just to answer your question. They then said, well, generally, if it was the first, second time developer going out for money, for either both equity and or construction loans, the lenders or investors would look at that 20%. But they said somebody who has a track record like us, because they have built a number of these kind of things, we have some, if you will, goodwill with some of the lenders and equity partners that would be willing to reduce their risk, or reduce their return, because their risk, they believe, would be lowered because of the track record we have. So
I get that, and
so
in all honesty, it's a lot of smoke, because we know from having worked with other projects, right, that the trust has been involved with, where we've looked at the developer's rate of return to, as we considered subsidies and have negotiated subsidies. None of those projects were expecting a 20% rate of return.
No.
They were expecting significantly lower than that, and they all got their funding and are moving forward. And so, they're coming in and saying, well, our expectation is this. So the fact that, we're only going to get this, well, we can make it work, it's okay, but we want more from you to protect that. It's like, my view is, why? That's not, we have to be very careful, because yes, decisions are supposed to be on a project by project basis when it comes to these types of negotiations. But the reality is, if our first significant project waives in any significant way the terms and conditions of our inclusionary zoning, we have weakened the strength of that bylaw. Because future projects will come in, they will expect that same level of consideration from the elected, from the planning board and other town officials. And they could go to, and even though there's technically no precedent set, they can still go to court and claim precedent. And towns generally lose when that happens. And so I'm very concerned that we're saying we put in this, leading, really well thought through, well structured, well researched inclusionary zoning ordinance. And the very first project that's coming before the town, it's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe we'll lower the cost of the buy down, or we'll allow more buy down, or we'll do other things.
Well, the buy down was put in place
But the buy down
for
was
a reason.
Well, the buy down was
Like,
put in
the
place
amount of
because
it
you
was-
need it.
Yeah,
I'm
Mark.
sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, the buy down was specifically put at that rate because we didn't want to make it easy for developers to buy down and not do that affordable housing percentage. But when you say, why didn't they apply before, the previous bylaw was much more difficult for a developer to actually build something. This gives them a lot of flexibility, gives them a point basis to achieve, greater coverage on the lot, and there's reachable goals there that they can help them maximize their, or minimize their expenses, maximize their profits, whatever you want. My problem with this, right? Like, I don't mind some of the subsidies that we've been giving out to encourage 20% to go to 25%, but I'm not, again, we're the housing partnership hat right now, so I understand we're trying to help them get this built, but I don't understand, supporting going under that 20% without something coming, further. Again, the strength of the bylaw can't be undermined, right?
Right.
The planning board can determine that, but I don't think the housing partnership can. My third point is, I would prefer not to just be handing out money, right? I'd prefer that if we wanted to help them achieve an affordable goal, that we maybe loan them money at a favorable rate so that the trust, again, we're not on our trust ads, but that we get our money back, right? So that if they're looking at 10% interest or whatever I'm throwing out a number. I don't know what their rates are.
They
right?
said 6%, which I was surprised at.
Okay, well, if they're getting 6% and we loan them some portion of their costs at 2%, well, now all of a sudden their IRR goes way up, right? And maybe they can achieve that affordable. And we still get money back into the trust at granted it's only a 2% rate, but it's better than just giving it out.
Right. And we can provide pre-permit funding.
Right.
we can't loan money
Yeah.
after that.
This is why I wanted to get a
Hey,
vote.
Ed,
Yes.
Ed,
Yep.
you know, I agree with both of these gentlemen are saying. The key pivot point here is that their IRR that they're requesting is unusually high. And what they have to do is somehow justify their IRR. Our inclusionary zoning, the work we did when we put inclusionary zoning in place, I suspect had in mind some IRRs for residential projects. And
Yeah.
if you know, and that's what the community is looking for. Whereas if they can't make it, if they can't be successful with an IRR that's around that number, I don't see why we would give them one nickel. Because there are other developers who can be successful and who will be successful. They're
Well-
not the only game in town.
Well, this is where, you know, as I was doing the analysis, I was starting to question these things. But at this point, we're, I don't want to say on the same page, but we have at least a model. We know a lot more on the numbers. We can play with the numbers very easily. We can take in the qualitative aspects, you know, financial aspects, but it's really, that's only going to happen in a working group. So that's, I mean, I'm hearing everything. I agree with everything. I completely understand the issue of this is sort of a, I don't know, not prototypical, but in a way it is, because it's the first one that we're doing under, of significance that we're doing under the affordable zoning and inclusionary zoning. And we have to tread very carefully. And I think we have a team here that is very aware of that. And, you know, we can go out and say, well, what are other developments, you know, looking for in their return? And we could counter to them and
And we could also just suggest that we could suggest to them a qualified consultant who could help them work through these issues and outline for them what is acceptable to the community.
they have already
I
done.
think our job is to represent what the community expects, provide them that information, make sure they understand it, maybe point them towards some consultants or some funding sources that can help them. But it's not our job to do their job for them.
I understand that, Hank. They did go out, they showed us 3 different responses from lenders and or equity partners of what their returns would be. They came around the 20% number. Some were, you know, one I know was lower, was like 18 to 20 or something like that. We can go vet that out. I mean, that's what they're saying. We can go and investigate, but to do that, we just need to get a group together to do that work. I don't know what more I can say.
Again,
Except
I don't understand why we would do that for them. They're perfectly capable of hiring consultants who
But
have
that-
the expertise and the time.
No, my point, Hank, is you can ask them, you tell us, you get some consultants. It's sort of like getting that witness, you know, for the defendant, you know, and geez, they always seem to agree with what the defendant's counsel is saying. I don't trust getting those numbers from them. You know, granted, yeah, you can say, well, they should work it all out. But if we want to work together, and if we want to try to find with some degree of work, whether this is feasible or not, which is what the housing partnership, I believe,
Right.
you know, responsibilities include, then it's reasonable because we need to know our own numbers. That's why I did all the work to get, not taking their numbers, which for rents, which were much lower because they were using park. I went to their data that was real live data and got good numbers, and they agreed with them within a few margin.
So I think we should create the working group because part of what the working group can do, because what we haven't seen in their numbers and analysis is even an exploration of funding options for the affordable component. So for example, given our inclusionary zoning given the fact that they are borrowing for the project, they could qualify for the low-income housing, they could potentially qualify for low-income housing tax credits. The advantage, what we learned 2 years ago at the Housing Institute from MHP, the Affordable Housing Institute, is that the low-income tax credits, the value isn't the tax credit to the developer. The value is large corporations buy those tax credits at a premium to help their bottom line. And they used an example of a project outside or in Boston where Caterpillar Financial bought the tax credits from a housing development in Boston because they needed to offset something on their books. And Caterpillar Financial finances, you know, those giant trucks that work in the mines. They're nothing to do with affordable housing. They didn't care that it was affordable housing aside from the fact that it was a secure tax credit, and they paid a 20% premium. And so that 20% premium is effectively a subsidy, you know, for the project. And so I think as a working group, we can point them to these resources, and it gives us more leverage to say, look, you know, we should not be negotiating a reduction in the buy down amount. Right?
Okay.
And
We're
things of that nature.
Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
I'm happy to sit on the working group with that.
All right.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, we do. To form that working group.
I'll make a motion to form a working group to work with Post Road Development and appoint Ed and Alan to that working group.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion?
I have one question. Is
Yes.
there room for a third on the working group?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd like to get it.
Fine.
I'll amend the motion to include Steve.
Fine. All right, we have a motion amended. Any
You're
questions?
gonna second that?
I'll second that.
Second the amendment. Any other discussion, questions? Okay. Roll call
Herrera, yes.
vote. Herrera.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
Hank.
Roush, yes.
Okay, thank you. I think we are done with the housing partnership portion.
So I move to adjourn the Housing Partnership Committee meeting.
Okay, roll call vote.
Second.
Herrera.
Second.
Yeah, we got a second.
Kate
Oh,
second.
second, I'm sorry.
Herrera, yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
Roush, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on, project updates. RAP,
So
anything new?
yeah, so RAP, we have available funds, and we are. I'm working with Metro West Collaborative Development to draft some changes to the application process to reduce and better protect us from potential fraud. As noted earlier, we caught a number of applications where we did not issue checks or stop payment on checks because we believed it was fraud. It was investigated. They were fraudulent. So we did protect our funds, but at the same time, we want to continue the program. I will have those for review and approval for our next meeting.
Okay, now,
And part of that, and I'll loop you in as we get past the T's and C's, because part of that, what we're looking at is requiring a referral from identified sources and agencies, so that someone has some organization that we trust is already doing case management with the household, so that they're known.
Yeah, we can totally.
Yeah, so that would mean we would need to talk and come to agreement with the outreach team at the senior center, at Youth and Family Services, the food pantry,
Okay. Now, you
and
said,
potentially other nonprofits.
I have a
as well.
question. You said we have available monies.
Yeah. We have,
We have,
I don't have the exact amount off the top of my head. I believe it's about $16,000
okay.
because we did not pay out on those 4 applications.
Oh, okay, those
We have
4 came
unspent
back.
funds,
Got
yeah.
it. All right. Yeah, if you could, because I am working on the financials, we'll go over that in issues of correspondence, but I'd like to then reverse that or that liability.
We can't.
Huh?
It's still committed as part of the
I know it's
program.
committed. I just need to know the amount since
Of what's committed. by-
just so I true up on everything of what we have still encumbered. basically assuming that came
Okay,
back.
okay, I'll get you the
so that way I
balance.
say,
I'll
oh,
get
well,
you the
here's the
balance.
total encumbered amount, because we have not reduced our cash.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Down payment assistance.
Down payment assistance, still working through the legal documents. I will have those for review and approval at our next meeting.
Okay. 3 Baylor. I've been over there looking at the house. It's getting there. I was inside. It's all framed out. They, haven't done drywalls or anything, but we're getting updates from Mark. And I think the last was, it should be September-ish.
Yeah, he's hoping to have the house finished when the person's identified in the lottery.
Right.
So the application deadline's the end of August, and then the lottery is the middle of September. So.
Right. So obviously the house will be done at that point. So it really looks nice. And
Beautiful.
Neighbors, I was over there, and when I had put up the signs and stuff, the sign, and they were just thrilled that, one of them said, who's ever building this, like I guess they saw the one guy who was doing the framing and said, he's doing a really good job. So I'm going, that's good. So anyhow, moving along.
I just also wanted to point out,
Yep.
did everyone, you saw the brochure that
Yeah.
Alan put in? So we distributed it. We've been working to get those to the senior center director, the youth and family services, to Christy to send out to town staff. So
To
our
Christy,
social
you said?
media, yeah, Christy, just for people like me
Right,
that might
right.
want to enter the lottery or whatever. Town staff themselves, so they're aware. Police and fire, and then it's on your housing trust website. It's been posted on social media, Facebook. So, anybody else that has connections to distribute, I think that is helpful. So,
Yep.
and then we can talk about how we might support, like at a future meeting, the lottery, or Alan had talked about ribbon cuttings, like stuff like that. We can talk about for the fall.
Yep.
I can put it on the belonging list.
Okay. That would be great.
Yeah, no, we can get as many people, for some photo. And I haven't reached out because I wanted to get a little better timing with the community advocate, and I did get your contact, thank you. Replacing Maureen Sullivan. All right, moving along, Lyman. I know is it still with Mark Donahue? Because I see the stuff going back and forth
So
between Sheeran and
the last update I saw was that we had provided them with, we had agreed to all the final changes, provided them with final marked up and clean copies. It was
Yep.
sitting on their desk. They came back and said they were waiting for that. It was resent, and we're waiting for them to execute.
Yep. Okay.
So
All right. Connector Road. I know I've signed that.
that's fully signed.
Fully signed.
Excellent.
We have any idea? I know they're looking to just do the flip with the permit. Correct? You've been talking to Tyler.
The last I heard is they thought they had a potential buyer. That did not
Yep,
happen.
happened.
So they're going through with the conversion.
So they'll do the conversion themselves.
They've
Okay.
already rebranded. They're already marketing the units as long-term rentals.
Okay.
They've got signage. I believe they have signage up.
So how are they doing lotteries and what have you?
I'm not sure where they are in that process.
Okay.
But we can find out.
Do you know any permit stages and COs and stuff, Kristen, or can you try to get a? Okay. All right, moving on. approval of refund credits for Ellington. Yeah, this was, Kristen found a couple of boo-boos in the compliance document that we got from Ellington West as far as conformance with, levels of rent.
Yeah, she
Affordability.
resent that new file with the 2025 rents. And there were just a few discrepancies on what they were being charged versus what they should have been charged. It was minor. It was they
It looked like
transposed some
78
numbers.
to 87.
$10 difference or something. So she just said that they would provide a credit to the tenants if we're agreeable to that. They'll issue it.
Yeah, I went through, there was one that seemed out of, let me make it a little larger here for myself. There was one that seemed to be quite a bit out. It was that 2209 or. Yeah, there was one, 2209, and that should have been 2104. It's,
Which unit number?
trying to get here. It's, I think, is it a non-renewal? It's highlighted in yellow on the sheet, halfway down. It's, I don't have a row, but 7121.
7121?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that's,
was
I mean,
the
they're
only
not
one.
renewing, so,
Yeah, that was the only one that was like a 3-bedroom that was higher.
yeah. So did they recognize that as a boo-boo, or?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I just would, I don't think we need to vote or anything on this. I just say, we've done our compliance, let them do the,
Yeah, I guess I think it'll be beneficial for us and for them if we did a motion. It's, so I move that the trust accept the modifications to the compliance reporting for the property and, request and agree with Maloney Properties' efforts to provide credits and refunds to tenants affected by the incidental rent miscalculations.
Second.
okay? Any discussion? No. Okay, roll call, Herrera.
Herrera, yes.
Edinburgh, yes?
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
Hank?
Roush, yes.
Okay. So, Kristen, you can send them a letter to that effect. Thank you. And thank you for, diving into the detail there. Next was, last meeting, I had put together what I call a skill set that I thought might be helpful as people might show interest in being members of the Affordable Trust. I think this is something we can put on the website, forward it out to people that show an interest, et cetera, to ensure that people understand the nature of the work that we do. And I don't know if people have had a chance to look it over, open to any changes, additions, et cetera. This is obviously can be a living document. We can approve this, and then as time goes on, as we see we need other kinds of skill sets or whatever, that can always be modified. But this gives somebody at least a starting point.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I just feel underqualified now.
Right?
No. It
key you're already on.
says specifically.
I'm teasing you.
Elected
It says specifically, except for Mark.
No, it says municipal official, ex officio. Non-voting or voting?
It says no smart Alex allowed.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
So I really appreciate all of these skill sets, and I appreciate the fact that it says skill sets. And I think that under other valuable qualities, I think lived experience of living in affordable housing.
Okay.
So I just think that that is a value that somebody could bring to this table.
Sure.
So I know it's not a skill set.
No. It's quality.
No,
It's a quality or a life experience or a life
Yeah.
No, that's a good
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can add that in.
Yeah.
So we'll put another bullet point to that effect of someone who has been I don't know if I want to use beneficiary, be a who has resided in affordable housing of some kind.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
So it's the individual who has resided, since we're going to make this a motion, who has resided in some type of affordable housing. Okay, so that's an amendment to the motion. I'll make the motion that we accept this document
As amended.
as it is, with the amendment of adding under other valuable qualities, individuals who have resided in some type of affordable housing.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion, questions? All right, all those in favor, or Herrera,
Herrera, yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
Okay. Hank.
Roush, yes.
Okay. I'll get Kristen, I can get just a slightly updated copy to you, take off draft, and then can you put it up on the website? Under, I think we have the page with the trustees on it.
Yeah, I would say that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So it should go in there. Okay. Where are we here? Trustee leadership. With July usually once a year. We should do it once a year. We haven't. We've been in business for 5 years now. Just coming up, just a little bit before that. So, Alan, you suggested it, so I'll let you.
Well, the committee guidelines for the town recommend that committee leadership rotate, if not yearly, every other year, to provide growth and
Yep.
different leadership opportunities. So that's really why we'd be talking about it. So the question is, are there people who want to take on the leadership roles or get involved in the leadership roles of the committee?
I'm in
Or
favor.
are there people that
Taking on other roles.
or are there individuals on the committee that other people want to nominate is really what it comes down to for the different leadership roles.
That guy Keith's in
I'm happy to nominate.
No, the point is to pick people.
So I think
Or
from your
appoint.
comment said that you're fine and
Taking on a
comfortable
different role, right.
taking on a different role. Would you be willing to continue to do the fiscal management?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
I can be the CFO.
We just say,
yeah.
I think we just add to the motion that you would take on the role of fiscal managers.
Okay.
So that.
I nominate
Manage the floor.
Alan
Well-
to be chair.
I second
would
that
second
emotion
that.
or second that motion. But I'm curious about, you're just talking vice chair or chair and vice
Well-
chair, but we used to have a secretary, a clerk, which was Alan until
Right.
we got
right.
Kristen.
Kristen.
So I'm just wondering if there's like a treasurer role, if that could be like
That's
you.
in essence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as close as yes.
Because I would be very comfortable was saying like appointing you as treasurer just because you have had our books the whole time and like you understand all
That's
of that.
fine.
Is that a motion?
Well,
To avoid confusion, I wouldn't call it treasurer.
No. Yeah, I
Because
would-
technically, the town treasurer collector is our custodial of funds.
We use
So
that.
I was just gonna say financial manager.
Financial manager works for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so that's a motion?
that's a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
I'll second
I'll third.
that emotion.
And vice chair.
We can just vote on that.
Should we just vote on that? Just,
Fiscal manager?
Or do we want to get a slate?
If Mark or Steve are willing to step up as vice chair, that would be good by me.
Mark cannot,
No.
because the vice chair takes the role of chair. And
Oh, interesting.
as the select board representative, he cannot
Oh.
be chair.
So
Did not know that.
Hank,
if
you're our
Steve would
current
step up-
vice chair, right?
I feel so
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
diminished now.
I'm willing to do the vice chair, especially, as a learning experience and slash, I think the more I learn, the better. So that's something I would be willing to.
I nominate Steve to be the vice chair.
Second.
Fantastic.
All right, so do we want to vote on those as a slate?
Sure.
Or-
Yeah.
Well, then we've
or do we have-
already motioned and seconded Alan.
Alan?
Okay, fantastic. All right,
I
we're
think there
good.
were 16 seconds.
Myself as
Yeah.
in the role of financial
So, Ed,
manager,
you're
still chair,
just so
right?
that we're clear.
Do we
Yeah.
need to vote on those individually or as a group?
I
think
think we
it's
can do
a
it as a group.
We can do
Yeah.
it as a group.
Okay, so we have those motions, as I just repeated, and I think we've seconded everyone. So we'll do a roll call vote. Ferrera?
Herrera, yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes?
Baton, yes?
Silverberg, yes to all.
To all. Okay.
Roush, yes.
And Rouch. So Kristen, we can do that. We can redo it on the, put it up on the
Website.
website.
Is that all?
Okay. Issues and correspondence. The just very, very quickly, we don't need to go over it. I will hand out, this is draft. I got 3 there. Financials, but they need to be updated to reflect that number coming back from the RAP. Also, unfortunately, I did ask that the monies that were approved at Fall Town Meeting, the 201,000 number, be transferred over, which would be would be on the cash inflow side of things, or cash inflow has yet to be done. I had asked, and then I sent an email for no other reason that it makes it a lot easier to reconcile Rockland Trust's numbers, which is where the money is, with the numbers I maintain. Not absolutely necessary. I also, but the one downside is we're not earning interest on that money. Okay, and since it's been October,
So how
You
do we
know-
do that? How do we move it?
the treasurer collector has to move it,
So,
and that's been requested.
so do we need to go
a
down?
couple of
Ed,
times.
will they have to do that before they close the books for the year?
Yes.
I would hope
I
so.
believe the fiscal year book closing comes this month.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, and I asked before the end of the fiscal year, there were 2 things that I wanted to see done. First of all, the transfer of that money before actual June 30th, so we're not pushing things out too far, or that it is done effective, or it is booked effective before June 30th. And the other was to do what we see is we have trust and project expenditures, and I have my list of all the expenditures. What they do is they do a withdrawal from our account at Rockland and move it back into the town, because the town's been paying our bills all year long, so that everything trues up. So this is where this is. I'll continue to work on this. I'll get a final interest up, and I'll hopefully have financials by next meeting.
Okay.
And the financials will be reflective as
Oh,
of
I-
6:30?
Yeah, yeah, I just,
And we'll update them to be reflective as of 6:30? This is as of,
Yep.
so, but some of these are as of 6:20, the current assets and stuff. So this will all be as of the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
These numbers there are as of well, the 225 is as up to date as I can make it.
Okay.
I mean, I think
So
those
this-
are the right
this
numbers.
201 is not actually in there.
No, that
That's the
201
number that you're
is,
questioning.
yeah, I was just showing Rockland. Really, the 205 is what is reality today, and that 1332 in the yellow available funds, I believe is accurate.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Anything else that issues of correspondence? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Herrera.
Herrera, yes.
Storm, yes.
Edinburgh, yes.
Bain, yes.
Silverberg, yes.
So you know, just-
Rouch.
Roush, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Westborough.
Westboro TV.
Amazing.
Thanks.